Hello and welcome back to Academy Rush, where I'm now joined by Riv and Yasui to bring you into the final match of the day, where Cloud9 are going to try and topple the undefeated Dignitas. This team so far has been running amok through the Academy scene. Do we think the Cloud9 roster is capable of handing the first loss over the Dignitas roster? Yasui, I'm coming to you first.
I think they're for sure capable. I'll have to see what the draft looks like. I think Dignitas is pretty strong, but Cloud9 can do it.
Well, you asked for it. Let's take a look as the teams are straight onto the Rift. We're going to take a look at the two-team comps as they broke down. We've got that all-important Rumble in the mid lane. We've seen a number of LCS teams talk about the power of the Rumble pick in the mid lane. Able to secure it, first pick on the blue side there.
Yeah, I think the Rumble is a pretty good answer to Qiyana, so I'm going to be interested to see what Dignitas will do with the early priority that the Rumble pick gives them.
Right, of course, we've seen that Qiyana took some nerfs, and so less popular in the jungle at this point because of the attack speed, but still viable in the mid lane.
Oh, seeing picks and bans. What was the second? Yeah, Senna's still there. Qiyana, bans, mostly focus. A lot of set bans coming in still, top and Ornn. Do you like seeing Ornn every game? Or are you just like, I don't want to play around that anymore?
You know, personally, I love playing Ornn. I think it's a pretty, cool champion, but I do think he's a bit overtuned, so.
I think he has one of the most satisfying ults. Like, there's a few things that kind of change your game while you're playing it. It's kind of like being like Eve and that underwater sound you kind of get, or when you do
ultra satisfying to play. To your point, you see about him being maybe a little overtuned. I think one of the aspects that makes him so strong is the fact that his ult is non-committal, right? I can throw it out, we can fish for the engage. If we don't hit it, we just back off, right? But all for naught, because he's not in this game. Instead, we have the Aatrox versus GP matchup in the top lane. But again, this is a very experienced squad on the side of Dignitas. Lorlo, Katie, and Demonte, Phoenix, Olay, the number of LCS years of experience those guys have across that roster is going to be tough to overcome here for the C9 squad.
For sure.
So since we don't actually see Rumble that often, what are you supposed to do when he just pushes you into your turret? Obviously, Palafox is taking the fight pretty well, but kind of what is that scenario, just knowing you're going to get flame spittered for the first few levels?
Yeah, so most champions are not going to be able to compete with the early Rumble push, and just because he can push the wave while trading on you, that's generally pretty hard to deal with, especially if you're a low-range champion like the Qiyana. But it looks like Palafox got a decent trade, so we'll see.
Where'd you put that paper? I want to get that notes.
You want the notes? I'm going to go grab the notes.
Do it! We'll watch what Fudge and Lore do on the top side.
Note delivery for one Rivington.
Very good, very good.
Alrighty. Taking stock of this one. A little gank up to the top lane from Acadian.
Oh.
Ooh, gets the knockup. That probably means disaster for Fudge. Yep. Nice first blood pickup for the jungler. 4 CS, that's what you like to see. That is so indicative of the jungle meta. 4 CS, he's in my lane. Get out of here, go farm your jungle.
It was a push off from bottom, right? He tried to go blue and then he wasn't getting anything, so he's like, now I need to gank, so let's try top lane as level 2 Jarvan.
Yeah, so it looks like he tried to do red to enemy blue and got denied, and kind of just rerouted straight to top lane. It's pretty creative, and what that's gonna do is maybe Dignitas will just get a free dragon now with the TP advantage they have on top.
Nice. It all sounds so easy.
I know, right? When you talk to these guys, they make me feel so bad about my own play. Because it's like, I mean, it is one of those things where you have to balance the idea of like, all right, with omniscient information, the way we watch it as a spectator, a lot of these decisions are easier to make, right? You can come up, even lower level players can generally come up with the right answer, having all the information. But I think that's what makes pro players and academy players so impressive, is when you start to understand they're making, in a lot of cases, the right decision with imperfect information. We have the perfect information, which makes it very easy for us to sit behind the desk and criticize. But when you think about the fact that like, no, they're tracking off of like timers. The last time they saw a jungler was 1 minute and 20 seconds ago. The fact that you guys can call out where he's gonna be next is, it's just mind-boggling to me.
Who does the most kind of tracking on your team?
Probably our support player, Gao.
Is that normal for most? Or do other players like, I actually want to take that job?
I think it's pretty standard for support and to some extent jungle to be the ones doing most of that.
Yeah, we have at least to look at.
Yeah.
Supports are like, I get to protect you and keep looking at the minimap, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
So Senna TK, off air, before we jumped on for this game, yet again, you were emphasizing to me, you know, kind of the relative strength of that bot lane. What would be the response? How does Dignitas shut that bot lane down, the strengths of that bot lane down in this case?
So I think the strength of Senna TK is it's kind of like you can just do nothing and win because your Senna
I like that. That's one of my go-to strategies.
yeah, because your Senna will scale up and then it's really hard to reach her in a fight, and when you finally reach her, you have a Tahm Kench that's just going to eat her, and it's just hard to deal with.
Right. So what's the answer then? Are we looking? Ooh. You have to bait the Tahm Kench devour then, right? Before you can fully commit.
Yeah, I mean, that's an option. I think in Dignitas' case, this game, they're just going to be looking to accelerate the game and end it before Senna actually reaches like a meaningful power level.
Gotcha.
Which is pretty doable here. I think biggest thing I'm seeing with Cloud9's draft is both of their side lanes are pretty slow to scale up. So they have the aggressive combo with Gragas Kiana, but what I'm seeing is like, how are they going to use that? Because both their side lanes are just so weak, and the Rumble does a pretty good job of holding down the mid lane.
Right. You look at those side lanes, both Fudge as well as King and Diamond have spent the majority of the game underneath their own turrets getting pushed in, so they don't have that kind of priority that you're talking about. We'll be curious then if Dignitas looks to pick fights around, you know, the Dragon and the Rift Herald then to help accelerate the game, because you know, C9 just opts to do nothing. Dig has to create that advantage somewhere.
So how do you, obviously the lane's not too bad. Demonte is pushing in as Rumble would, but with a Rumble being banned all the time, how do you actually get practice in against that champion? You just ask teammates to do it, or you just kind of let it go to the wayside and you know how to play against Rumble, so you just ride a bike?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I think that situation happens a lot where there's like a high presence champion. It's banned a lot. I think a lot of the practice you get at that point is just in solo queue.
Right.
It's more likely that you can play as or against the champion solo queue.
True.
Well, showed a little bit of temperance there, not going for the gank. Acadian was not spotted on a ward, even with C9's bot lane pushed up. He decides not to go for it. Probably because Phoenix has low health and wants to buy. But give him some respect over to the Cloud9 squad. MF has started to pick up in popularity as well. I saw Apollo playing it earlier today. He had a pretty impressive scoreline. Do you feel like that's, in general, the third option behind Aphelios and Senna for most teams?
It seems like it right now, yeah. She's just
lane presence?
got a pretty solid lane phase, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
And good team fighting, you know, with the ultimate.
Right. Ooh,
that was a bit of anti-synergy there.
Yeah, pulling the trigger on that. Okay, they still get it as he gets blasted away towards the turret, expending literally everything there to pick it up for Cloud9. But hey, put a kill on the board and the 300 gold lead.
That was spicy. It was like, I didn't actually think the interaction would happen that fast, but he stopped her from hitting the wall.
Yeah.
That's funny. See again. Was it the barrel or just the body slammer?
It's the flash root, and then he gets E'd while getting ulted by the Kiana, so he goes nowhere. He gets like knocked up, stunned twice.
Supreme display of Sam.
I would have laughed too if he lived with 1 health, getting blasted back under turret there.
Yeah, that would have been a little tragic. Looks like Dignitas is taking the opportunity here to start Rift, knowing that Gragas and Kiana both have no ultimate.
Right, it's that classic 9-minute Rift Herald start. The GP ult gets dropped real early for Cloud9 here, looking to defend against it, but...
Yowzers, fish in a barrel.
Yeah.
Pretty good for Dignitas. I really don't think Cloud9 has very many tools without those ults up. So.
That's the big thing, right? If you don't have Gragas with like a flash E, how on earth is Cloud9 ever starting a fight? It feels a lot more like a kind of a disengage, re-engage composition in certain fashions.
Yeah. The fight reminds me of old meta of Curse of the Sad Bullet Time. I missed that. Those are some good
Bronzodia, baby.
those are some good combos. Good life cap in that map back in the game. There's actually a lot of layered ults on this. Cataclysm, into Rumble ult, and then MF.
Oh yeah.
Spicy.
I mean, if they're the initiating team, right? You got a Jarvan flying in, you got a hook lands, gives you permission to just layer all those ultimates, and then you got an Aatrox for cleanup on good measure in the back line. But that's the thing here. When I look at these drafts, I understand very specifically what Dignitas wants to do. I feel like even a player at my level can look at this composition and say, hey, I know how to win. This is how team fights should look. When you look at the C9 side, that's where I feel there's a slightly larger, kind of a barrier for execution on their comp.
Yeah, definitely agree. What's going to be interesting is seeing how they play around this second dragon spawn. Unfortunately, Dignitas never used the teleport advantage they got earlier, so both teleports are up for the top laners.
So yeah, they just GP back up in the top lane, looking to farm to that Triforce. Pretty far behind at the moment. Expected, but.
Those ults are back up. Is he gonna Predator in? Yeah, he did. It's kind of an alert. It's like, hey, we're coming in, by the way.
Oh, I like the look. That was a big play waiting to happen. Does secure the Dre, but Inori will go down for it.
Worth.
Ocean.
Is that worth? What's the call there? Legitimately.
Honestly, it's not too bad for C9 because I don't really think they're gonna lose any. Actually, Dignitas is gonna have a window of ball here, so take it back. Not worth.
Okay.
I think Dig will get more off of this.
Pop
right, jungle for Dragon, but if they drop the Rift and pick up, what would this be, 4 plates? Oh, you might not do it.
They're
They
gonna
can blast a few plates away. You get down to 2. And you
Oh, and then you do, so you get rid of the, or you get the early armor defenses up, but then Shelly will always take her too.
So it'll be about a plates away.
So they're gonna get 4 plates.
They might just.
Ooh!
It was close.
Right, it's close.
Come on, stick around for it. Oh, come on, there it is. All right, so from 5 plates to a dead first turret there, Dignitas, that's a happy trade. You'll take that trade any day.
For sure.
Especially because, I mean, it's mountain of all things.
Well, this hook was so close.
Yeah, that was.
And that was just a terrain grab, too.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Although, I mean, I, in ways, respect Inori for going for the big play, but also, like, if you hit that barrel, what happens after that? Like, no one was there to capitalize on it anyway. It was kind of a funky look.
Cause the chaos.
Yeah.
Send a message. Or just pull one out for yourself.
Right. There it is.
Paying respects on the way down.
Okay, waiting for that level 11 to come in for Demonte in the mid lane.
Yeah, I think in both cases with the Rift and the second Dragon there, C9 is trying to contest, but I think they need to be more respecting of Dignitas' early game strength over their own because they're kind of just wasting their time contesting and actually losing more.
Is there any way that they get Fudge big and they can at least kind of split the map for him? Because he's already behind Aatrox.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit too far gone there.
Yeah.
It's hard to commit any resources to the GP at this point. He's kind of just on an island.
Pirate's life, indeed. Living alone in solitude. 3-1. It's actually been pretty action-packed, but not too many kills for each fight. Everybody's getting out pretty unscathed, except for people in the grave.
It just feels like Dignitas is a step or 2 ahead in all cases, right?
Yeah.
It feels like they're kind of spreading their resources around the map just a wee bit more efficiently than C9 is. C9 overcommitting for defense, where maybe they should just be giving something up and looking for an advantage elsewhere.
And in what you saw earlier with Acadian wanting to go bot, but there was no advantage to be gained or possibility of a death, right? So they tempered that engage.
Right. Which is odd, because I think in the first couple weeks, this Dignitas squad was going a little bit more ham, like a little bit more just like full throttle, foot on the gas pedal.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a nice look for them to maybe be, tempering it a little bit, giving some more respect to their opponents. Got that triple Doran's blade, Essence Reaver build in for the MF.
I love it and I hate it because if you are facing that, it's so hard to kill her. You're like, we should be able to all in this marksman in lane.
Right, except for she's got a ridiculous amount of health off of those Doran's blades early.
Yes, the health, the overheal shield, the life steal, it's all of it adds up.
Pretty even down there.
I mean, so, okay, this might be too tough of a question to answer right now, but why is it that a champion like MF builds triple Dorans where your standard mid laner doesn't right now? Those items have an inherently high gold efficiency attached to them as starting items, and yet not everyone does just that.
Yeah, I think I'm not an AD carry player, but I do play some AD carry. I will say in the case of MF, she doesn't have any defensive abilities, so I think in her case it's like a worthy investment because
having some beef doesn't help.
It's a lot harder to all in, and if she can just like break away from a fight, maybe you chunk her 80%, but if she creates enough space with her movement speed, she can get a good ulti or just life steal with the Dorans. So.
It's so interesting when those like ideas come up and you try different things, and it might be 100 or 200 extra health, but until you see that 102 extra health make you live in a fight, you're not totally bought into something, and then you're like, oh, actually, I want this.
That was me. That was like me in understanding potions. Like 8 years ago in League, like trying to understand the true value of potions, and then when somebody actually took a moment to explain to me like what effective health was and the idea that if a fight lasts X number of seconds, you essentially had this much more health because of the regen, I'm like, oh my God, I never thought about it that, you know, like I never really thought about them as a combat item.
Yeah.
And they are. Bronze Life. That was way back in the day when I was just like, I don't get it.
That's right. I still remember my first game when I tried to jungle, I drank both potions immediately.
Right.
I was like, I'm gonna need these. Like, wait, that's not how they work.
Right? Wild stuff like that.
Oh, getting a little saucy again.
Yeah, let's go, Cloud9. Found a bit of a look. Looks like Ole's gonna go down there. It's a good pickup. Now Demonte is not where he wants to be. The slow's coming through with that glacial augment.
I think we might have overlooked the fact that all their power was on Demonte really at this point. And if Demonte can't get a good ult off and no follow-up, they look scattered.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was also just kind of a funky positioning, right?
That's true, that's true.
Never ulted, which never gave Phoenix an opening, but that'll be the second Drake in the hands of Cloud9.
Palafox. Yikes, that was quick.
Down 2K though, here's the replay. Let's see how it happens.
What does your ulti do? Oh, it's half down. That's why. Oh, no ulti. Ah.
Right? So why? I don't know. Why are you here?
Right. So I think what happened here is Dignitas got the second Rift Herald and used it immediately mid.
Yep.
They got the mid turret. They dropped Rumble ult, got Kiana's flash, and chunked her out. But then Kiana just reset, came back with Ghostblade Moby, so she's back on the map real fast. And I don't think Dignitas was kind of respecting of the fact that they're going to lose the fight at that point because they're down cooldowns and they're down tempo. So just overreaching a bit, and C9 punished it really well. So.
Good old Thresh Lantern to safety there for Phoenix.
Nice, make it rain.
That's one of the most satisfying abilities to use, and just nope out of there.
Or you get a good flash one to extend it.
Yeah, exactly.
Make that sick play.
It's like you thought I was out of position.
What's your favorite champion?
Ooh, that's hard. Used to be Silas.
Used to be.
So he
not a big fan of the changes. They're okay, but now
I kind of liked when he could steal ultimates way more.
Yeah, I did too.
That felt good. It was also why he was strong, but.
And now it's probably Irelia, if I had to choose.
Cool.
That's a good one. Good skill expression on that, it feels like.
Heck yeah.
All right.
Very smooth to play.
Yeah, Fudge forced to flash away. Off of the Rumble ultimate, though, so expending pretty significant cooldown.
Yeah, so they've used 2 Rumble ults now, gotten 2 flashes, so if Dignitas is doing a good job of tracking that, they can look to force a fight and play around those flash timers.
Yep. So in this case, kind of while people are resetting, hitting the back buttons, if you are on the side of Dignitas, and we're looking to make happen what you just said. Cool, we know that there are flashes down on their top laner and their mid laner, and you want to force a fight. Dragon isn't up, the Rift Herald's not up yet. How do you create the environment that allows you to force that fight? Like, where are you going on the map? How do you create that fight?
Yeah, I think here they're going to be playing for top outer turret because it's the last outer turret remaining. But C9 does have first setup here, so top side is super dangerous for Dignitas to walk into. What you're seeing here is they're trying to slowly contest and retake that control. They're actually teleporting up. It's going to be a big fight.
Sleeper on the way up. There it is.
Yeah.
Teleport came through.
Another one coming up.
A little bit of a 1v1 in the river.
Fudge has ult if he can find a good cycle level.
That was a good stun. So almost pulling the trigger a little early on that one, it felt like. It's tough because the TP was coming in, but not everyone was there ready.
I mean, Ole just had his teeth grit and that was continued to run at them.
He was definitely ready for a fight.
Yeah, I think that situation was just very awkward for Dignitas because Acadian got caught out in river versus the Kiana, and he's not winning that one anytime soon. And Demonte had no rumble still.
So there it is. Good play from Cloud9. Pick up a kill and a turret in the top lane. That pretty much evens the gold up. Our 1K difference.
Palafox is doing work too.
There it is in the mid lane.
Nice.
I mean, a 3-0 Kiana. We talk about how much power is indexed into Rumble in the early and mid game. Now you got to start to concern yourself with a Kiana that's almost completed her second lethality item.
Yeah, Palafox has done a great job this game, keeping up in farm and getting these random kills when Dignitas is overstepping. So he's going to be very scary, especially for the MF because she really doesn't have much
that lack of
here.
mobility that you were talking about.
Yeah.
It's going to make her a prime target for the assassin.
Cleaned up.
I think a lot of this will be on Ole to mark Palafox, make sure he's not getting a great flank, or else the fight's gonna be really hard for Dignitas because they really don't have the tools to stop the Kiana.
I love the 1200 gold in ability tomes. That's cool. For Ren Demonte.
Yeah,
You stack swords, I stack books.
Let's go.
Rumble,
I'm a learned man.
Rumble needs librarian skins.
This guy, 3 books, a pair of shoes, and a mask. What more could I need?
And
his stopwatch, his pocket watch, man. He's ready to go. This is a classy man right here.
Perfect. Gentleman Rumble.
Big fight breaks out. Oh my goodness, that's the second time now that Acadian's been totally zeroed out.
That was a nice 5-man Kiana ult as well.
For real.
Yeah.
That was dirty.
Yeah, C9's feeling really confident now. You can start to do things you wouldn't otherwise. So it looks like you're gonna get number 3.
I think now they probably can sense that they're about even in gold again, and that they've almost gotten over that hump, right? That hump of the early game where they have to be playing so defensive against the Jarvan and the Rumble. Now you can see them taking a little bit more initiative themselves, and it's paying off.
Yeah, they're in a great spot now. Senna's got the Mana upgrade, so she's pretty strong, and Kiana's 2 items, and Rumble's kind of all over the place with some dark technology there.
GP ever scaling as well. Warlow might be able to win that 1v1 straight up still, but it's gonna turn soon as Palafox looking for another gank on the side lane. Everybody making a little visit to the bot lane. We'll buy them a turret.
I thought that was a little aggressive until Abyssal Voyage came in behind.
Yeah.
And then you see the play they're trying to come up with. Summoner spells are up around the map, except for Top's TPs. Looks like we're gonna get a real big fight next if we do, but everybody's holding their breath for the next 4 minutes probably. Push them lanes. How many souls?
Channel coming in for Nori. He gets instantly slowed from Demonte. Demonte might just, okay, that was close.
Ooh, nice. That's the funny thing. I'll always remember that time Kobe said, he's like, a lot of times when you try to 2v1 Rumble, he will make that the 1v2.
It's the top lane Syndra. Granted, this is a mid lane Rumble, but it's the top lane equivalent to a mid lane Syndra. Like the jungler shows up, and you're like, great, 2v1. Just double kills you. Damn it! It was close there, though. You saw that almost turn around on Nori, but again, Palafox picking up another kill, 4 now.
Yeah, a bit of a misplay on the side of Nori, cost him his flash, but they still pick up the kill. So I think Cloud9's in a really good spot this game.
Yeah, 3 Drakes in their pocket. The next one comes up in 3 minutes. Ocean Soul, one of my favorite souls in the game.
So good.
Feels so impactful in fights.
Yeah, I think it's generally regarded as the strongest soul right now. because it just seems like it makes you almost unkillable in,
It's
in
like
an
having those
extended
potions.
fight.
It's like having those potions in fight, except for I don't have to proc them myself.
It takes you a long time to even use the potions once you buy them, too. There's a whole learning curve there.
Yeah. Well, I remember, God, years ago, we did some kind of, looked up the data on like active uses from players, and it was something like only 10% of players even use Zhonya's.
Wow.
Like 10% of the players who buy it will ever activate it. Those numbers might be totally different now. This was like 5 or 6 years ago, but I remember going through that and being like, holy crap, yeah, people don't use potions. They buy the active items because they see pro players buy them, but then they don't use them for what they're worth.
I don't know if you can, maybe giving everyone an early chance for a stopwatch makes them then remember to use the Zhonya.
Yeah, the introduction of the stopwatch might have encouraged active use more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Genius Hunter, another good one there. But yeah.
What do we got? What's Dig's way back into this now? I mean, they have the initiations, but C9's just backing off.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, gold is still even, but I think Dignitas' champions and just generally their team comp is kind of not going to look too good moving into the next 5 to 10 minutes. They're kind of just relying on the wombo combo, but C9 has some pretty decent answers at this point.
Right. I think it's always going to be tough to engage into a Tahm Kench and a Gragas, right? Even a GP ult flying in on top of that. But it feels like that is still Dignitas' way of winning, is that they have to take the initiation on the fight. And the last couple times we've seen them be on the losing end, it's been like a Cadian getting caught out. They haven't actually had the opportunity to set the fight up on their own terms.
That's true.
Yeah,
Good point.
I think Dignitas needs to just engage on the Tahm Kench, and they'll probably just get his flash the first time, and then they'll have to redo it again to actually kill him and start a winning fight for them.
Right.
Unfortunately, they can't do that because their time is running short with the 4th dragon coming up here. So I think they're going to look for an engage, and it's going to be very hard because C9 has all of their flashes, minus Gragas.
Yeah, 4th dragon and 50, plus look at the vision there on the bot side. You talk about the dragon coming up, and it's all red, pink wards there. So C9 has total control of the bot side. It'll make it even harder for Dignitas to, move in and feel confident in whatever fight they take. But there's the initiation.
Oh, this is one of those moments to blow the flash. Gray health is still up. He is going to flash and Gray health.
Right. So that was great for Dig because they didn't use Jarvan and they still got his flash.
They use Rumble ult, but they get GP ult out of it, so trades there. Also notice that, King Flash and Diamond Flash, like you mentioned, so that's who they're going to be targeting most likely in this dragon fight.
That being said, Cloud9 does have the inside track.
Oh, Palafox with a whiff on the ultimate there. He saw the play and he went for it.
Everybody's getting tempted to fight and just missing by a few millimeters.
Oh, my word!
What is this?
It's getting real messy.
Oh, my God.
Oh, the Zhonya still should burn through.
A battle of who can hit less. Demonte. Oh, my goodness. Is he going to go down to a barrel there on the bot side of the map while Phoenix gets a full channel ultimate? Orlo, he's pretty big now.
That's Scrap Shield. He's good.
King's not where he wants to be. That's exactly the fight.
My word, this fight's everywhere. I love it.
It's the result Dignitas wanted. I don't know if it came the way they expected.
So I was about to say, the messy fight actually benefits Cloud9 because Dignitas needs, a good wombo, but then Phoenix got some insane misfortune out there, so they actually ended up winning the fight. That's kind of crazy.
It also kind of felt like the split was a little funny from Cloud9, right? Once the fight kind of dispersed into 2 skirmishes, all of a sudden you have a random Gragas trying to 1v1 a Rumble, but that means he's not threatening this MF, who's going to get a full channel ultimate from safety here on the top side of the screen. Take a look at this. Once Palafox doesn't get the kill, boom, full channel. Devour into the kill. Also, Demonte ended up living there.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So double kill for MF. That's a nice little power spike. 700 gold bounty now on Phoenix. Phoenix has been pretty impressive on the ADCs so far.
Yep, for sure.
This split.
Phoenix is a really good mechanical player, and it looks like he's adapted well to the AD carry role.
Is that, so you actually said to yourself, you like to kind of play off-roll AD when you're just queuing. Is that, do you think something the mechanics lend itself to, or?
Yeah, I think for sure. And there have been a lot of times where AD carries are meta mid laners, so you kind of learn that play style and those specific champions when they come up.
Corki, Ezreal, Lucian have all had their stints in the mid lane. And I'm sure some others as well. We did see a solo kill there just a moment ago. Again, Palafox racking them up, 5-0-2 now.
Yeah, at this
Over
point,
Demonte.
it feels pretty bad to be the Rumble. You kind of don't deal that much damage, and you're also not that tanky anymore. So.
It feels like lane distribution all of a sudden became really difficult for Dignitas. Whereas in the mid game, you'd be happy with Aatrox in one side lane and Rumble in the other. Now Rumble can't win those 1v1s, right? So he can only push up halfway.
At this point, the Kiana is just very accelerated, so she's gonna be able to win the 1v1 on the Rumble side and use that priority to threaten the rest of the map, or just kill the Rumble like we saw there.
There's a lot of items from Palafox. he's feeling real good. And
I mean, especially when you look across the map, like, okay, yes, you've got 3 Ninja Tabbies in, and you have the Zhonya's, but that amount of lethality at this point in the game is still negating so much of that armor that was even picked up from Dignitas.
Got the execution column. Where is it? No. I don't feel like Lorlo's being too big of a problem right now. There's still a lot of money to pick up, though. $700 as you said on Phoenix and 3 for Lorlo. That's a big chunk of change for a team that seems behind.
Yeah, I mean, Dignitas can for sure win a fight still. I think it's anyone's game right now.
How well can they get that onto the diamond again? Like, as soon as you're like, they just need to get Tom Kench and then his flash, and able to do it. See if they can again. Moving as a team, though. Actually, Tom's alone. Ooh.
C9 still controlling the bot side.
Question mark?
Another 2 minutes until that soul is up. Kind of completely ignoring the Baron side of the map.
Yeah, so I think what C9 has decided here is that their Baron damage is just too low, and they don't really have a great tank for it besides the Tom Kench. But if Tom Kench is tanking Baron, it's going to be a little scary for your Senna. So C9 is just making the choice to prioritize the Ocean Soul.
The amount of money I would pay to have my solo queue teammates understand like what Baron damage is. So often people are like, well, we have a man advantage, we should go start the Baron. I'm like, yeah, but we can't kill it. Everyone's got 1 item or something, or we have a Senna who does no damage.
Yeah, Senna's big weakness is her lack of DPS. It does make taking neutral objectives a little bit harder, and then you add on the Kiana, who also really just doesn't have DPS, so.
Right, kind of brings us to the exact stalemate that we're witnessing right now.
It does feel weird as Kiana when in that situation, because otherwise you're diving around and doing crap loads of damage, but when you're single target attacking something, you feel so useless. You're like, yeah, sweet.
Right, so we just had, I think this is a good moment to look at the mini-map. You just saw Kiana in the top lane, started that slow push on the top side, right? You got 50 seconds or 30 seconds till Dragon now is about 50 seconds at a time. Start the slow push, make it impossible for Dignitas to respond at this point. And now you can let that wave kind of slowly build in the top lane while you jockey for position around the Dragon. That's some good macro play.
Yep, Cloud9 is looking to control bot side still. They've got Kiana on a flank top side here.
Dignitas feeling the pressure. Acadian went for the fight. He's gonna.
He brought the stun back.
I was gonna say he brought the root back to his own
yeah,
team.
thank
That's
you.
rough.
Oh,
Olay gonna get out with just the redemption heal. Ooh, Demonte though, that is a nice ultimate. Here's that Wamba we were talking about, but the Zhonya's comes through on Phoenix. Means he doesn't get the full channel. Can Lolo get the cleanup onto Diamond? Diamond does go down.
Whoa.
Wow.
Oh, wow,
Oh,
Lorlo.
almost a big play.
Lorlo.
Boy.
Resets. Yeah, another 1 for 1 though. 2 for 2 overall, I believe. Or 1 for 2. 1 for 2.
Oh, this is where you cannot chase the Senna. They're gonna be.
Palafox flashes in. Okay, wow, they are lucky to get out without a death there. You're right.
So I actually thought the start of that looked pretty good for C9 because Acadian brought the Senna route into his teammates.
That looked disastrous.
Yeah, they got a good Kiana ult, but again, Phoenix got a really good MF ult off, and without ulti, the Kiana couldn't actually kill him. He just had to flash away. And then Lorlo was really doing some good work on the backside of that fight as well.
Yeah, it's our 3 deathless players in the game as we rewatch this engage, so missing it there. Gonna click the lantern, take it back to the team. Very brutal. But yeah, Diamond blowing the flash to try and get the execute. Beautiful Rumble ult into the Jarvan ult, into the MF ult. It's the way you want those ults to be layered.
Damn,
Yeah, so I think if Cloud9 just took that initial chunk that they got with the Kiana ult and just started the dragon, they were golden. They would have gotten the dragon there. But they actually ended up being super greedy.
Yeah, they saw red.
Dignitas punished very well, so good on them.
Ooh, almost handing it back here at the end, playing with fire.
Literally. Oh, Demonte lives.
Not quite able to pick it up. All 4 members will get out.
Look at those summoners used.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, next fight will be quite bloody, I think.
Yeah, literally every summoner expended on C9's
Almost
side.
the same
And
time for
Dignitas.
flashes
And then,
everywhere.
yeah,
That's crazy.
Almost everything on Dignitas, aside from like the teleport.
Okay, wards.
You see the triple blue ward in there? Or the
Ward?
quadruple blue ward? You think they're doing it?
Oh my word. But look at that. 4 far side alterations for C9.
Wait, really?
It looks
No. That one's a yellow, right? On Gragas.
Is it? Oh, you're right.
Yeah,
Is it?
No,
Yeah.
there's
hard to tell,
three far side. You're right. 1 on Gragas.
Okay.
1 on Gragas.
It's hard to see grayed out, but
Good call. Better eyes than I do.
we know that's not true.
I was giving you that one.
Glasses, please. Kiana's looking for a flank here on MF.
Ooh, that was nice.
Oh.
Bye-bye.
1,000 gold to the pocket of Palafox there.
Seriously.
That was a huge flank.
Yeah, that was well done by him. That's exactly what you want to see from a Kiana.
That's gotta feel so good.
Just
Cruising around in the enemy jungle.
Do you have that pink ward
no-
down there? Sometimes you're like, maybe they see me and I'll wait for them to move and I can tell, and otherwise you're just like, I'm coming in full bore.
When you know they don't know, that's the best feeling. This means the Baron will be started up for Cloud9. No real opportunity to contest 3v5.
Goes to show you how big Phoenix was. He still has a bounty.
True, yeah, he was 3-0-2, has a nice CS lead as well,
Yeah.
which helped with that bounty. But again, that means a 7-0-3 scoreline for a Palafox. This is a career high game he's shooting for right now.
Yeah, he's really putting his carry pants on this game.
Well, with the Baron, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I still think the game's winnable for either side here, and it's probably gonna come down to this next dragon.
The dragon, exactly. Getting another look at that flank. Just perfectly executed. Finds 2 against the wall.
I like that they kind of just leave Ole. Somebody's like, yeah, hit him, take him, get that kill in.
Baron makes it even easier to set up for this dragon. Because what would be your call? My curiosity is what your call is here, right? You could say, hey, Baron buff, let's try and break the base, or Baron buff, let's utilize this to secure the dragon. What's your call?
So, in this case, taking into consideration their champions, I think C9's best option is to use the Baron to just get better setup around the dragon, and if Dignitas tries to contest, which they probably will because no one wants to give up Ocean Soul, it'll give Kiana a much better fight.
Positioning.
For Kiana in particular, you kind of don't do anything in the base because you can't get a good ultimate.
Right, you get no targets.
And you can't get a good flank, so you're kind of just standing there like, guys, I'm kind of useless here. So yeah, they're looking towards the dragon here, and it's going to be very hard for Dignitas to contest without any sort of setup.
Yeah, all 3 waves getting pushed in. Now they're establishing control in the red side jungle with 25 seconds left to go for the Drake to spawn. Again, I'll direct your attention to the mini-map. Watch how these pro teams, they set up vision around the objectives. You don't see a single green ward farther than the red buff itself for the side of Dignitas. So they are operating with 0 information once they move past that first line of wards.
Yeah, here's the infamous NA ram. They're fighting for mid priority here to transition to the dragon, but Baron just makes it too easy for Cloud9.
All right, watch Palafox.
Gotta
Got
ward
the
that.
position. Boom. Okay, it didn't net as much as I thought, but it does mean that the dragon was picked up.
Yep, stolen. What an ultimate coming across. They're going for now Phoenix. Palafox?
Oh my God, Acadia
DA's
just
up.
came up huge for Dignitas.
Wow.
He had no business being there.
What an absolute disaster for Cloud9, honestly.
Right? How do you let that happen?
That is such a sad thing to see. I think Palafox had a great position there, and the rest of his team decided to start the Dragon instead of playing for the fight.
Right.
I think that was a big mistake. If Cloud9 just sat on their control there and played for the fight instead of the Dragon start, I think they would have.
Oh my God, this could be the end of the game here. That is fascinating. From what felt like,
my word.
I'm gonna air quote an unlosable position. If Cloud9 had played that properly around the Drake, it felt like they were gonna hand the first loss over to Dignitas Academy, but that's not the case.
Yeah, that somehow Dignitas pulls this one out again. Looks like they're gonna get another win.
I mean, they had, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm going to call that was just individual execution and awareness from Dignitas there. They didn't necessarily set up a super pretty fight, but Acadian, he knew he had to get in for that steal. He finds it. Everyone else plays that, kind of skirmish off to the side mechanically well individually, and they navigate themselves to a win somehow there. I'm truly baffled by how, Cloud9 let that one slip through their fingers.
Yeah, so Dignitas just didn't have a great position there. They did what they could, just walking in kind of blindly, and it ends up working out for them just because they played well individually. And unfortunately for Palafox, who was kind of carrying his team, he was left on an island at the end there, and it's just a bummer.
Bit of a feels bad when you're in that position and can't bring the win.
And he's been showing up too. Just coming into that, I was about to praise him, saying that's a fifth unique pick coming in. So he's been put through a champion pool to still come out and play that, and he has great plays on the other champions too. So. That he knows he played well, but that never feels good to go down the game.
They might remain undefeated, but if anything, I will say that this game shows that Dignitas is not infallible. Again, a lot of the conversation around Dig Academy, this split, was the expectation of 18-0. If this team drops a game, then that's a poor showing for them. Well, they just kind of showed us that they're capable of losing a game, even though, it didn't.
But they did flip the old saying, they were losing until they won.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. It's a whole new world for Dignitas. That concludes our Academy Rush game, so let's go ahead and take a look at the league standings. Team Dignitas holds first with an undefeated streak, followed by Immortals in second. Then it's 3 teams tied for third and another 3 tied for sixth, while CLG moves just above Team Liquid after earning their first win today. Now, before we sign off, let's go ahead and take a look at tomorrow's matches. The LCS kicks things off with the Geniuses versus CLG. Then 3 more matchups before Cloud9 Academy returns to the stage to face 100 Thieves. So Academy, Cloud9 going to look to be kind of bringing this one back after a feels bad loss today, tomorrow. But I'm coming to you, Yusui. Of those LCS matches tomorrow, is there any one in particular that really excites you?
I think those last 2 are both going to be great matches. I'll be
TSM Dig and Cloud9 FlyQuest.
Yeah, I'll be looking to see if TSM can kind of bring out a better showing than they have so far the first 2 weeks.
A lot of people in that boat with you.
Yeah.
slow start for them, but again, 2-2 is nothing necessarily to scoff at, right? For TSM, that feels like an awful start. But if they can kind of whip it together and really show us something against the surprise in Dignitas. Again, we talk about how impressive their Academy squad is. We have to talk about how impressive their LCS roster has been so far.
Sure. Oh, so you want?
No, it is true. It's true. Thank you for validating.
I didn't know you wanted to.
No, I love it. I love it. Just tell me I'm right more often, Riv. I'm gonna bring you on the analyst
I'll
desk.
be sure to. I've been actually pretty pleased about it in that it hasn't had to just be Huni in the top side. For that roster, I thought it was gonna be, okay, Huni's gonna go hard and he'll kind of be the reason the team is still loved, even if they're losing, but they haven't had to go through any of that.
Yeah, without a doubt. And then I think the big thing as well is talking about Cloud9, one of the other impressive squads. Their Academy team, yes, suffered a loss, but what we're seeing up at, that higher level is the fruits of their Academy labors. Let's remember that Blabber has been in this system for years now under the tutelage of Cloud9, now getting his LCS start.
Yeah.
And look how well they're doing. So while, yes, that was a rough loss today and they're sitting at 2-3, I think kudos to this Academy system here, specifically at Cloud9, for producing some top-tier talent.
And I'm actually really excited. A lot of other teams are kind of looking to build other teams below that. Like 100 Thieves has Next and stuff. So you're going to give even more talent that's being built up before they then come into Academy. So we're even going to see better players in the next few years. I'm excited.
Pretty soon we'll see this guy on the LCS stage.
Hell yeah.
Yusui, thank you so much for joining us today. I appreciate all your insight. That's going to do it for Academy Rush. Now for myself, the casters, the entire live broadcast crew, thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow for the LCS. Good night.